All right, so we are here. And so I am Pastor Trey Smith, and I'm here with
Jamie Murray.
All right, and so I'm glad that you guys are joining us. Please make sure that as you come on this video, you can share, and get it out there so that we can make sure that this is available. And so, Jamie, if you would just begin and just share a little bit about yourself and why we're here today.
We're here because we started 3.5 years ago with my granddaughter being put in the family court system. And I'll be honest, I never thought that was a good idea to begin with, but we were forced into the situation. And from day one, it's been a struggle.
It's good, and it's been hard. And so tell me this. I named this video, We Need Justice and We Demand Justice Now, because there are times where I believe that the systems may be well-meaning. They may have started with good intent, but there are times when people actually, they can grab hold of it, and then after a while, the morality of the system could be lacking. Mm-hmm. So what was the experience that, would you say, and just general with the court system that you had?
Well, you would hope that it would have been in the best interest.
And make sure you guys share the mess out of this. Please, if you know anybody who's gone through any injustice, we're going to give you some help and we're going to give you some support to get through the scenario. But please make sure you share. Go ahead.
I honestly believe it's supposed to be in the best interest of children. And family court, I believe, has become nothing but about money and power, and they almost create these conflicts between parents, and they keep them going for profit. And so it's almost it's become toxic to where children are put at risk, they're destroyed, families are destroyed. And you can't stop it because once you're in the system, there's no getting out. And they don't help you. They keep conflicts going. They
just keep it constantly. It's a vicious cycle.
Right. And they take your money and nobody does what they're supposed to do. They don't follow the law. They don't protect children. They take them from parents. They use them and they hold your child hostage to make you do what they want you to do, whether they...
I want to say this. I think in that particular point, because I hear you. I've seen, and we've worked as a pastor, we worked with a lot of different families and people that have gone through a lot of issues, especially through the court system. There's been times when I felt people go through eviction. I remember not too long ago, I went through a scenario when I was helping somebody going through an eviction, where the lawyer just came to him with the apartment complex, said, "Hey, just sign this paper." They said, "Well, what is it about?" "That doesn't matter. Just sign it so we can go before the judge." And they said, "We can't go before the judge until he signed this paper." They were lying to them. But because they didn't know any better, the system is set in place in a way where it benefits those who either have the most influence or the most money. And most of the times, if you are not educated, you will easily be taken advantage of. And so this is the reason why, and please make sure you guys are sharing the mess out of this video everywhere you can. And this is the reason why we're talking today, because there may be people out there that are going through the situation and feel like it's hopeless. And so I want to ask you this question, if I could. You're here, and there have been many times when people just want to vent, but that's not you.
No.
What do you want? What do you want from your experiences? What do you want people to know they can do, and what are you willing to do to make that happen?
I want the people that are put in place to make these decisions about other people's lives to have to follow the laws that are put in place to do that. They are harming our children and our families. So we ended up here because our granddaughter eventually ended up in a very scary situation. She's put in harm's way, and nobody would do anything to help us. We went to every entity, and they cut my son off at the knees, and nobody would help. And that's how we ended up here.
Dialoguing with me right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, because right now we're in the Justice for Oakley group.
Yeah.
And so some of the people in this group who are here, and please make sure you share this. Share this in any groups that you're a part of. If you know anybody who's been under any systemic oppression, please share it with them, because they're not only going to get information, but also they're going to get some tangible things they can become a part of so that they can get assistance in their situation. In that, your granddaughter, if you put up a post about how many people love kids, you probably get 1 million likes, a million comments, probably pictures of their children. But in this situation, it seems as though that your grandchild may be in an unsafe scenario and not getting the support that's necessary. And you seem to be law-abiding. You do your best to follow the laws. Me personally, I just want to hold the law accountable. Right. That's kind of my whole thing. But there are times where I've seen if we don't hold our public servants accountable, they will have what I call a sliding, a slippery slope and a sliding form of morality, because what will be required of them would either take them longer than 8 to 5, or it would be an inconvenience, or it may not support their buddies, because every now and then we notice there are buddies in the system.
Right.
You know, and so speak to me and speak to the folks, because we have folks. Deborah's asking what happened. So listen, Pastor Deborah, she's down in Richmond. God bless you. And Maisha, she's already in Fresno, California. And so these folks, I need you to share, and we're going to tell you what happened, because not only, you know me, if I'm doing a video, I'm not just going to tell you what happened. I'm expecting us to do something. We're going to make something happen in this. And Jackie, make sure you share. She's also one of the great transgender advocates. So she's in the LGBTQ community. And so we're getting this word out, because we're going to rally you guys. So if you would just share briefly kind of what happened, and what happened to your granddaughter briefly, what happened to your son, and how we got here. And then we're going to talk about mobilization.
Okay, what started out as a custody case.
People trying to be law-abiding.
Right.
Following the system.
Right. And breakups are always ugly and nasty. Well, not always, but can be. So what started out as a custody case became a case where they silenced my son.
What do you mean silence?
They took his daughter, and then they used her as a pawn to get what they wanted, you know. So there's a lot of connections here.
Yeah, my stage manager said there was a group. What was the group?
PPOs.
So they use PPOs as a strategy from day one.
Now watch out. Now there are people here that may say, well, if you get a PPO, you got to do something, right?
Right.
But what happened to get a PPO, or what was the legal language used to justify a PPO?
Well, it was It was Facebook.
It was a Facebook post?
It was Facebook post.
All right, now watch this. Now, what's important, because listen, we have 32 people watching right now.
Right.
And
Sorry.
people are sharing. Keep sharing.
Sorry.
And no, that's good, because watch this. They're saying that the interpretation of your Facebook post could cause legal action to come against you. And that's why you need to understand how far freedom of speech goes.
Right.
Because if it's not, even if it's a level of maliciousness, there are still some protections you have. And hear me, if you don't understand your protections, you could post, I can't stand Trump, and you're going to have the FBI at your door. But you need to know what your rights are, and you need to know how to come against that. So go ahead, continue on, please.
Exactly.
So they use PPOs.
Exactly. And that's the whole point here. We are protected. And they tell you that you're not. And they have been doing it for the past 3.5 years. And I'm talking about father's rights memes, simple post, and if somebody commented something off color, it was another violation. And my son has been continually incarcerated over his First Amendment right. And they also took his child repeatedly to make him stop talking, to silence him, and use his daughter to instill fear in him and our entire family. We were afraid to do anything. He was at their mercy. And when you know something's not right, you can't do it. And so we have spent a lot of money, a lot of heartache. We have been without my granddaughter. My son has been without his daughter, but the worst part is my granddaughter has been without her dad.
Now watch this. Now, for those pastors who are watching, I need you to understand the reason why I'm engaged. Because don't believe the lie that pastors should just sit there, preach, and act like everything's good and just be a little peacemaker. That's not how we work. The very calling of the prophetic, if you look at the Old Testament, the only reason why prophetic people came on the scene was specifically to call for justice in the midst of unrighteousness. And so you may have a member in your congregation, you may have somebody in your community that's being oppressed, that's being misled. Like, I don't care if you don't agree with me, if you don't think like me, you do not deserve to be mistreated, and we'll stand up for you. We'll stand in righteousness with you, and we'll make sure that whatever it takes. There have been people we've had to go to the county jail and make sure they were treated properly. And now, right now, your son is incarcerated, right?
He is.
And so, please make sure you let, if you know, you got any county officers watching, you know me, we want to make sure that everybody's treated right. We just want to ensure that there is safety. And please ensure, everyone on this particular line as you're watching, that we will stand up for those who are being oppressed. And we have pastors, I'm asking you guys to rally around us. I put in the link 2 things. Number one, there's a link for a petition. We need 1,000 people to sign that today. I need you guys to start signing that right now so you can become a part of that. And also, this is a lot of legal fees. We got a lot of lawyers here. So why do we have lawyers and we don't have gangsters? Because you're trying to follow the law. You're trying to follow the processes. Right. But what happens is the city, the state, those ideas, like even a judge put a bogus amount of money to get your child out, $30,000 cash.
Right.
And because in the state of Michigan, there could be an easy legal snag that can happen, and they can keep that money, they can violate them and put him back in jail.
Right.
And so that's why we're putting all of this out here, because I want them to know that I know about this, and we are ensuring that our pastors know about this, and that we're going to ensure that righteousness is done, people are treated fairly, and we're going to ensure that that's going to happen. So with that being said, now that happened, and we kind of know where your son is, we know that we're here because it's starting with your grandchild. Now, what do we want to do?
Well, first I'd like to tell you why Justice of Oakley was started.
Okay, talk about that. Go ahead. Talk to your people.
It went from a custody battle into Oakley is still today being left where there is a twice convicted sex offender that lives in the woods in a shack with no running water, no power, off a public trail, and she is being brought out there by family members. She is allowed to interact with him.
So isn't it illegal though? Isn't it legal for?
Well, it's not because they're zoned agricultural.
Okay. No, I mean, isn't it legal for this little girl to be in the presence of a sex offender?
Well, not normally, but in this case, because she's being left at a home and not a business like a daycare center, they're telling us that there's nothing they can do.
There's nothing they can do. They know that, and I believe one of those judges even told you that, hey, well, if something happens to her, then we'll do something about it.
Exactly.
And it's interesting that they know that she's in a dangerous situation, but because the way they allow the laws, now mind you, they're fighting to change laws about national emergencies. Mm-hmm. They're fighting to change laws about marijuana, but they're not fighting to change the laws to protect children.
Right. And CPS, 3 different entities said she is to have zero contact.
Zero contact with this entity, with this person.
Yes.
And they know it's happening.
Yep.
It's been reported.
Yes.
And they're not doing anything.
Well, they're not allowing that to be put on record. And we have the CPS report.
So they're silencing
yes.
the CPS report.
Yes.
And that's illegal.
Yes.
That is so.
And they're also going as far as saying that the report doesn't say what it says. They're saying that it says supervised, and it absolutely does not. And then we are also being told by family members that she has zero contact with him. And then we're being forced, they're issuing PPOs to the sex offender in the woods against my son and myself. And he goes into court and says that he has contact with her.
And so you're a threat to your grandchild, according to this PPO.
No, a threat to the man in the woods.
Oh, you're a threat to him.
No,
So
they issued a PPO against my son for Larry, the sex offender in the woods, because we posted about it on Facebook. And then I posted about the situation on Facebook. So he filed to get a PPO against me. Now I was brought in and a hearing was held. They issued the PPO against my son ex parte, like every other PPO they've issued. And still to this day, there was a PPO issued against him. And still to this day, over 2 years later, he has still never had due process and had an evidentiary hearing on it. No, and they know it. And so here we are. Now they're issuing PPOs for the sex offender that is allowed to interact with my granddaughter. And I had to go into court and sit through a hearing with this man and listen to him tell things about my granddaughter, like she's smart, she's antsy, and all the stuff. He shouldn't even know my granddaughter's name.
Now, were you able to say anything?
Yes, I got to talk, and they didn't grant the PPO against me. My son, a couple weeks ago, had to go. He filed to terminate that PPO, and so he had to go into a hearing, him and this man, and it lasted 2.5 hours. My son literally had to sit in a hearing and go back and forth with this man about him having contact with his daughter. And all that was, this had such an easy result. All they had to do is follow the recommendations of the professionals that said zero contact.
So there were professionals in the same area that work with this system all the time.
That the judge ordered to make the recommendations.
And the judge said, well, you guys don't know what you're talking about.
No, he won't even allow them in on record.
So he ordered them.
Yep.
They said, oh, we got the reports.
He quashed them.
And he's like, oh, okay, we don't want to hear. Now, are you guys sharing? You need to hear this because, listen, again, this is a bold step because, again, we know these things happen all the time. And no, it doesn't just happen on First 48, nor does it just happen on TV. But this is real life. This is messing with the family right now. And listen, I'm telling you, you guys need to share the mess out of this. And you also need to start inquiring and asking questions. All right, so that happened. And then also our stage manager told us again, Facebook.
Because this courtroom that we are in, there are a lot of PPOs being issued ex parte. And
now say more, because some are, now we got 42 people watching. They may not know what that means.
Ex parte, that means that he is issuing PPOs against people without ever having a hearing or a show cause and bringing them in and find out what's going on.
Now, we do know that you have the right to face your accuser. You have the right to inquire, and he's not allowing that.
No. And so he had issued a PPO against somebody that had some kind of issue with his neighbor. So he went to appeals court, and it ended up actually going to the Supreme Court. Okay. The Supreme Court handed down a ruling on this court that we're in and said, you can't do that. And you cannot issue a PPO and then use it to take away a person's freedom of speech because there's a PPO. And they're telling you if you have a PPO that you no longer have freedom of speech. And so they continue to violate you. And they keep telling you that you can't talk and say what you want on social media.
Yeah, that's what they told you.
Oh, no, flat out. They said you were told. The reason Kevin's in jail today, they said you were told not to talk about her on Facebook.
You see that right there? Another gentleman just got in, Dale Kimbrough. Listen, Doc, you go all over the world. I need you to share this with all your prophet friends, all your pastor friends, and tell them, listen, if we don't stop this issue and deal with this issue, this is coming to a church near you.
And this is happening a lot. especially in my county and especially in this courtroom. And if anybody wants to review McGuire versus Zoran, you will see the Supreme Court ruling that just came down in the past few weeks against this courtroom. It applies to everybody, but it came down because of what was happening in this courtroom.
Now, what's interesting about this is I want to let you all know that this is on Facebook. But when we do our next live, and we'll probably do another one on Monday, it's not going to just be on Facebook. We're going on to YouTube. We're going on the other platforms as well. And we're going to continue to build, because by next week, we're going to have a large rally where you guys can actually be a part of it, hear the stories, meet the family, and then also begin to support, because the only way we win, only way evil is defeated, is when good people do something.
Right.
And so, all right, so now let's talk about the good things. But what did we do? What did we get prompted to do?
In the situation?
Yeah, because of that.
Here?
Yeah, so what are we going to do here now that we are here?
We're going to stand up for our rights.
Absolutely.
We're going to protect my granddaughter and any other children this is happening to in families, and hold these people accountable for stripping your rights away, causing this kind of fear in people. I mean, I can't even believe that this can happen to people. And had I not been thrown into this,
absolutely,
I would have
never believed it.
Never believed it.
I know, because it was just, listen, this is the reason why we are starting a nonprofit, Justice for Oakley. And we are not only going to win this issue, we're going to make sure that he gets free, make sure that the granddaughter gets where she needs to go. But we're going to open this up for other people. We're going to make sure we open this up for other people. So if you need help, if you need support, if you need any help with legal fees, that's why the PayPal is there. That's why the petition is there. We need you to look at the top of it and sign it. And if you want to share, you can give anything. We want to make sure that we can fight the system. And the only way we can fight the system is by you guys standing with us. All right. And so we are looking to help anyone in the country. There are multiple places. I shared this in a group, Justice for Matt, because he was shot down by the police. And when he was shot down by the police, there was too many questions. The police actually said the body cams, the batteries went dead. Oh, so since they went dead, the community, about 50 people came into the police station and dropped batteries for them, so they can make sure that wouldn't happen again.
Right.
And so why am I saying this to you? Because listen, we will not be silenced. We will not only just be loud, but we're going to be organized. We're going to organize people. And we're going to get people moving and grooving in a positive concerning this issue. Right. So is there anything you want to tell the people? From a mother's standpoint, anything you want to share with them? Stage manager, did we miss anything? Anything you want to throw out towards us? But anything you want to tell the people, let them know that we're going to be coming almost daily with videos. Probably you can look for us. Starting Monday, you're going to get consistent videos. We're going to keep information flooding. We're going to put the information out there. And listen, if the system doesn't get right, you're going to learn about people.
Right.
You're going to learn about them. You're going to find out about them. I have meetings with the NAACP tomorrow. I have a meeting with the congressman tomorrow. And we're going to let them know about this issue. And we are coming for the jugular to change the system.
And I'm just really, this is the first time that I feel we have a voice. And we're not being silenced now. And I want everybody to know that let go of the fear and let's do this. We can do this together, and let them know that we're here and we're coming.
Absolutely. And so listen, guys, I'm so grateful for you guys joining us. Share this everywhere you can. Let folks know that there are people that are standing up for righteousness, because I'm telling you, we're going to go down to the jail. We're going to go talk to the people and ensure that he's being treated fairly. And now we have a pretty decent jail. We have a really good sheriff. I have a good relationship with him. And I just let him know, hey, we're going to make sure that everything's going well, because we don't want any negative things happening. And we want peace. Yes, you're right. Mary Williams said we need court watchers. You know what? We need more than court watchers. We also need those who will agitate and ensure righteousness is happening.
Right.
But I need you guys to share the mess out of this video. Let folks know that we care and we're going to make a difference. And so thank you, Miss Jamie.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is just the beginning, and y'all know me. We're going to run on this. We're going to make this happen, and we're going to change the world little by little. All right? Justice for Oakley. Again, the PayPal is there. The petition is there. If they want to contact you, you're on Facebook.
I am.
Or you guys can get into the Justice for Oak hashtag, or is it just Justice for Oakley?
Justice for Oakland.
Justice. Spell it out for them.
JUSTICE.
And stage manager, you can type that in the comments.
FOR Oakland. OAKLEI.
Okay, and so please make sure you email maybe you want to put one out there or no?
Not right now.
Not right
I
now?
will in a couple days. I have a different one I want to give.
All right, and we'll make sure that this happens. Yeah, I told you. Listen, this is what pastors should do. And my pastor friends, Pastor Deborah, I know you're about justice. Jackie, I know you're about justice. Mary, there's others I can't see you all, but I know you guys are about justice. If you guys are behind us, I need you to stand with us, sign that petition, give the PayPal, let folks know, share the mess out of this, get in contact. If you know this young lady personally, reach out to her and let her know you're with her and figure out tangible ways, because we're organizing. And by next Friday, actually by Tuesday, we will have a location for our rally, and we're going to come together in the city and we're going to make a difference. So please make sure you share. Tell everybody you know, because we are going to make a difference. Is that right?
Yes, we are.
All right. Thank you again. Thanks. And thank you, stage manager. You did a great job. Y'all be blessed.